Hey, what's up everybody? In this video, we're going to take a look at October's first pickup capsule, and in this particular pickup capsule, you have until October the 10th end of day to get one of these Tsums. So it's a 4-day pickup capsule, a little bit more time than usual, but let's get into it and take a look at the 6 Tsums that are available. So you have 2 copies of Bride Ariel, 2 copies of Monsters University Mike, 2 copies of Vanellope, 3 copies of Wally, 3 copies of Tramp, and 3 copies of Genie. Now, if you're able to clear the capsule, and that means getting all 15 of the Tsums in this pickup capsule, you will get the last prize, which is a skills ticket. And pretty much pickup capsule, this is what you're after. You want to try to clear the pickup capsule and get that skill ticket. But this pickup capsule, there are some good Tsums in here that is worth getting even if you can't clear the pickup capsule. And my favorite out of these 6 is going to be Genie, and there's 3 copies of him. And then number 2 will be Tramp, and then number 3 will be Vanellope. And actually, honestly, Vanellope and Tramp, they're interchangeable. And Monsters University Mike is actually pretty good as well. So there are some decent Tsums in here that I think are worth getting. And I'm going to get into why I think I would recommend getting you these 3 Tsums a little bit more specifically. So just stay tuned and I will go through each of them individually. So let's get right into it and take a look at the very first Tsum. So the first Tsum, we have Bride Ariel from The Little Mermaid. The ability description for Bride Ariel is high scoring Erics appear and Ariel becomes high scoring Tsum Tsum for a short time. I'm currently using Bride Ariel at skill level 3, and the ability essentially will last for 4.8 seconds and the score will multiply by 3.4. So you're using Bride Ariel really for the score. She's not going to be great for coins. And you also will probably need Bride Ariel at a higher level. I'm currently using her at level 4, so which is a pretty low level. And for this one, I actually ended up not getting a lot of points. And Bride Ariel was also pretty bad for coins as well, so not really worth it. I don't know if Bride Ariel is actually worth it at the higher levels. And also, even if you have Bride Ariel at a higher level, you still need to be pretty good at chaining Tsums in order for you to get a pretty high score. And definitely Bride Ariel, no matter what, I think even if you get her to skill level 6, it's just really not worth it. There are going to be better Tsums out there to get you better coins and also get more points as well. So I will show you the end of this gameplay to just let you know how many coins I got. And really it's below 1,000, so really not worth it at all. So at the end of this gameplay, I only got 523 coins, so super low, and I'm also playing with the 5-4 and coin boost, so definitely not worth it. I recommend passing on Bride Ariel. Next, we have Monsters University Mike, and Monsters University Mike is from Monsters Inc. And the ability description for Mike is clears a vertical line of Tsum Tsum. I'm currently using Mike at skill level 5, and the skill range is going to be extra large. And also, Monsters University Mike is not just a single vertical line, it's actually going to be 3 different lines. So the animation essentially is a bunch of library books or some kind of books comes up, and they're stacked in 3 different rows, and they're going to be cleared vertically. So depending on what skill level you have, the diameter of the I guess you could say the bar, the horizontal lines, are gonna vary in shape, or not horizontal, sorry, it's gonna be a vertical line. So the vertical lines of books, it's gonna grow in size as you level him up. So Monsters University Mike, if you are using him, it's really going to be for coins. And I would say Monsters University Mike is pretty decent for coins. It's not too bad. For this Monsters University Mike, it's not like the other Mike. So some of the strategies is to, when you're using this Tsum, is to make sure that you have a lot of Tsums on the screen. Because if you have a lot of Tsums on the screen, then you're guaranteed to maximize the chain. And when you are maximizing the chain, then you're definitely going to get a lot more coins than usual. So make sure you have a lot of Tsums on the screen before you activate the ability. If you have Monsters University Mike at skill level 5, you should definitely be in the 30s for every time you activate his ability. So chains of 30 and up will be considered pretty good. At the end of this gameplay for Monsters University Mike, I was able to get 2,863 coins. So not too bad for a skill level 5 Tsum. Of course, there are better Tsums out there, but for a skill level 5 Tsums, it's not too bad. Next, we have Vanellope from Wreck-It Ralph. And Vanellope is one of those Tsums that I really like, just because I really like her character and also really like her from the movie. I'm currently using Vanellope at skill level 4, and the skill range is going to be large. And let me describe the animation a little bit, maybe that way it will help you a little bit of understanding it. So during the animation, essentially what happens is Vanellope will come on the screen and she is going to glitch. And what I mean by glitching is essentially it's just like the movie, that's how they describe it. But really she's just going to zigzag across the screen. So one of the best strategy to using Vanellope is to make sure the center area, and actually you might even want to have, depending on what skill level you have her at, you may want just the entire screen to be full, because when she zigzags, sometimes she does end up on the edge as well. So some of the edge ones might be clear if you do have her at a higher skill level. For skill level 4, you're able to get away with the edges of not getting it having zooms there. So depending on what skill level you have her at, just make sure there's a lot of zooms on the screen before you activate her ability. It's going to be worth it for those couple of seconds where you wait to make sure the screen is full before activating the ability. I'm currently using Vanellope at skill level 4 and I was able to get 2,267 coins. So if you have Vanellope at a higher skill level, or if you utilize a strategy where you wait a little bit longer before you activating the ability, then you definitely should be able to break 2,300. There were a couple of abilities where I didn't wait because I was testing it out to see what is more effective, just so that way I could share with you guys. So definitely want to just wait that couple of seconds to make sure the screen is full before activating the ability. Next, we have Wally from Wally, and the ability description is Wally will shrinks a horizontal line of Tsum Tsum. They'll disappear when you clear neighboring Tsum Tsum. So for this animation, it is pretty interesting. I'm currently using Wally at skill level 3, and the range is going to be medium, and I need a total of 13 copies of Wally to activate the ability. So for this one, as you level up his ability, so as long as you get more copies of Wally, you're going to level him up, the skill range will get bigger, and the amount of zooms that you need to activate his ability will be lower. So instead of 13, you might have 12 and 11. So depending on what skill level you have him at, that's going to decrease and your range is going to get bigger. But anyways, let me go back to the ability description. So what happens is he will use his little hands and grab a bunch of zooms from the center, and all those zooms that he grabs will be compacted because he's technically a trash compactor. So he will compact all those zooms in the center horizontal line, and then they become small. So what happens is when you are clearing those zooms that are touching the little zooms, they're going to be considered as part of the chain. So the strategy to using Wally is you actually want the center area where the little zooms are to be connected to a really long chain. Because what happens then is it will be counted. So let's say you compact a total of 16 zooms and you clear another 16 zooms. So that's going to turn out to be a chain of 32 instead, because you chained a bunch and you're touching a lot of those little zooms who in return will get popped. Alternatively, if you have a magic bubble, you could always pop it in the center. So that works too. But with this in mind, some luck does have to come in play. You know, you have to have that really long chain in the middle area. But yeah, really not for me personally, for Wally. But at the end of this gameplay, I did get 1,143 coins. So not great for coins and not necessarily great for points either. So for me, I'm gonna be recommending pass on Wally. Next, we have Tramp from Lady and the Tramp. And the ability description for Tramp is clears Tsum Tsum in a horizontal line and heart shape. I'm currently using Tramp at skill level 6, and the skill range is going to be extra large. And I really like Tramp's animation. Essentially, the two of them will collide, and then once they collide, a heart-shaped bubble will be formed at the top. So not only do they come in, a horizontal line comes in, but a little heart shape then gets, I guess you could say, like bursted in the center area. So you're getting, I would say, like 2 bursts in one go. And if you are using Tramp, the reason why you would be using Tramp is really for the coin purposes. Tramp is a pretty decent one out of these 6 to earn coins. So for that reason, I would recommend using Tramp to get coins. So one of the strategy to using Tramp is just to make sure the bottom section and the top section has a lot of zooms. So kind of like all the other ones from this series, you want to make sure the screen is full of zooms before you activate the ability. Because the bottom section is going to be cleared by the horizontal line, so you want to make sure there are zooms there at the bottom, and the top area is going to be burst by the heart shape. So you also want to make sure there's bubbles, or not bubbles, but you want to make sure Tsums are there. So you just want to make sure the entire screen is full of Tsums before activating it. At the end of this game demonstration, I did get 2,634 coins, so pretty good. I would say like pretty decent. I wouldn't say like it's amazing, but pretty good out of the 6 that we have today. So I definitely would recommend getting Tramp if you are trying to get one of the 6. And finally, we have Genie from Aladdin, and the ability description for Genie is random effect, so random we don't even know what it does, but we kind of know what it does. There are 9 different abilities, and this is the first one. A bunch of random Tsums will be turned into Genie at the bottom of the screen, so this is the first one. Second one is this one where he punches the center of the screen, so essentially a center burst. And then a third variation is a bunch of balloons that come up. This is Christopher Robin's ability. And one thing to note is the time does pause there, so you don't need to rush to try to pop them. You want to wait a little bit to pop them actually. And then this is the fourth one where essentially a giant genie shows up and you could chain a bunch of genies to make a really long chain. And I'm also going to fast forward here a little bit to show you all the other ones. And this is the fifth one where a diagonal snowball runs down, and that was Olaf's ability. And this is the sixth one. Essentially a bunch of magic bubbles shows up, so pretty good for magic bubbles. And then number 7 here is Ariel's. Essentially a little loop-de-loop gets made there. And then finally, actually no, there's 2 more. There's this clap one, which is a horizontal clear. And then this one is the final one, which is a hand that comes out and waves a bunch of Tsums to be popped. So one interesting to know is that if you are using Genie at skill level 6, what happens is they're using a bunch of variations from other Tsums. So you're pulling from Alice, Ariel, Olaf, Mater, Peter, Miss Bunny, Little Oyster, Christopher Robin, and Tinkerbell. If you have him at skill level 1, you're only using Christopher Robin's, also Young Oyster. Those are really only going to be the 2 that show up. I think Alice might show up as well at skill level 1. So it isn't necessarily fully random, but it's random enough where you're not exactly sure what's going to come up. The reason why I recommend getting Genie is because Genie is useful. As you could tell, there are a lot of different abilities that come up. So Genie is going to be good for those random missions, especially if you can only invest in one Tsum and you don't have a lot of Tsums that are good for missions, then Genie could be good. He's going to be good for bubble missions, good for missions where you have to make big Tsums, long chains, and also pretty decent for coins too. And let me skip forward here and show you what the coins I got for this particular demonstration. For this gameplay, I got 2,690 coins. So pretty good for coins and good for abilities. So that's the reason why Genie is my favorite out of this whole pickup capsule. So anyways, that's pretty much it for this video. I hope that you guys found this video helpful in reviewing all 6 of the Tsums. And if you would like to see more Tsum Tsum content just like this, where I review Tsums, go over leaks, and talk about different game strategy, then definitely don't forget to scroll down and hit the subscribe button. And as always, thank you so much for watching.